Support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL. Okay! Welcome to FMLFPL Milan.
It's Walsh.
How are we doing, brother?
Ready to pod.
Like it's fucking Christmas, potting on a Thursday.
Battle station's ready. And it's
game.
just not
It's
just not a chill vibing one. It's like, holy shit, there's games in a couple days. So much going on.
Yeah, this is deadline day. This is gonna be an unedited, just fuckfest of a pod. I'm just gonna get it out as fast as possible because the fucking deadline is really, really soon.
Actual deadline day felt like one of the dampest squib deadline days ever.
Yeah, there wasn't that much action.
It was like nothing.
Yeah, pretty minor moves, I guess. But we'll get to some of them. But FPL wise, not many of interest for sure.
No.
But let's just start with maybe our weeks.
Sure. I'll go. I did Perisic in for Reese when that news was breaking.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't too big of a fan of starting Pereira home Brighton. So I took a -5 with my free transfer. And that's what I did there.
Pereira getting no love from Team Walsh.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a continuation of my life this week again with just goalkeeper. Dude, I've gotten 7 points out of my goalkeeping spot this year.
That many? I thought it was maybe 6.
And my fucking Neto / Rodrigo spot has also gotten me like 6 points. I don't know, 7, 8 points. And all I do is spend my transfers there every week. And I just get blank.
I mean, Robbo's gotten, at least he had he's gotten 9 pointer, but basically fucking nothing.
That's been just the biggest. Those 3 spots have just been why I am where I am.
Yeah, because every other pick you have is just, you have Haaland, Jesus, Martinelli, Cancelo, Trent, formerly Reese, now Perisic, Cucurella. Like that's just...
Yeah, well, Cucurella has also been bad since I got him. But yeah, I mean, it's just those few picks. But anyway.
Yeah.
81, pretty much what everyone who had Captain Haaland got is like right around 75 to 85 range. So I got a good green. And I'm not wildcarding. I'm probably almost certainly going to wildcard next game week.
Woo!
I just need to clean it up, and I feel like I'm getting close to being ready to restructure like drastically.
Yeah.
And the Robbo's a big problem. Like just the defense in general. I've been sort of taking these 1 week. I have to do something about Rodrigo.
Yeah.
So I have some moves that I have in mind to make, but that'll be for next week, I think. And that's me. How'd you do?
Yeah, I like that. I wish I had a better way of doing this share screen situation, but let me get my team up here.
I think this is a good way. I like how it kind of...
Yeah, it's not bad, right? It's 79, like you said. If you capped Haaland, you're right around there. I just saved my free, so Reese got auto-subbed out for the 6 from Pereira, which is huge. No Cancelo, he fucking... he's a prolific goal scorer. The Kev pick on my wild card has been so far the biggest of my disasters. Just getting 2 points in a 4-goal game and then bench sub on for 1 point. He really needs to pay me back this week. That's really, really what I need from him, big time. Yeah. Because that's like where I put all the money that I took out of defense is basically him. Yeah. So, I have all the other picks that, most people have. I'm getting worried about my Palace lack of cleans, especially that little piece of an article you sent me was like not encouraging, but I'll roll with them for now. I'm not going to panic about it or anything. Team's fine. Good to get a green after my fucking nightmare. So I feel relatively back on track a little bit. So,
yeah, I mean, Palace conceding late under Vieira.
What else
with the
is
center
fucking
back? Yeah. And, this is a bigger like footy thing, I guess, but like Anderson Gahey pairing, I feel like is gets a lot of like plaudits and,
Yeah.
accolades of like, wow, like they're both young, like they both have this insane passing range, like they allow for so much tactically and the spacing and blah blah. They are fucking so bad at playing defense together. Like it's past the point, I think, of alarm to just like they're not very good defensively, and the amount of times they lose men and can't track runners into the box and transitions, and when the ball gets is out wide and, there's some movement in and around them is just, it's commonplace. And I think you look at the underlyings of like, oh, well, Palace defense is good because the underlyings.
Yeah.
That only tells a small portion. I mean, part of why they are good at center backing is that they don't have to center back much because they allow for us to dominate and be on the front foot a lot, right? But when they do have those few questions asked, they don't often answer all of them in one game. And it's, it does make the clean sheets, a little bit tenuous, and it sucks.
I mean, I was thinking about it in relation to Liverpool too. It's like, you can be really good, but if you have like 2 Van Dijks, which is like, kind of Gahey and Anderson are like budget Van Dijks. It's like you need someone to go get the ball. That's why like you need that Matip, you need that Konate to pair with him. Yeah. We always talk about Mertesacker and Koscielny just because we loved them. But I always my ape brain is like you need someone to go get the ball and you need someone who sits. It's a sort of sweeper stopper of the past, but how it translates now.
And that's why I'm really curious about playing 3 at the back more, because and I don't know what's going on with Richards. Like he seems to just not like him at all, or maybe he just doesn't think he's ready at all because he keep playing
and shit.
No, I know, but I mean, you'd think in the 3 at the back. I mean, granted, we're doing it in tough opposition, but like he's playing Ward, Klein. It's like, but I mean, maybe at 3 at the back that they could kind of be hidden. Those deficiencies can be hidden a little bit more. I don't know, but it's
I mean, that sounds really good to me. If you could get someone like that you could trust, but
we have we'll say. Anyway, we didn't want to go
Anyway, let me update the leagues. We got our first mug winners of the year, the August winners. We got Village Idiot, aka Village United, in first. We got Vyabov Jane, aka Shroot Farms, in second, and Nicholas Adamson, aka Silky Clean Sheets, in third. So they'll each gonna get a mug. I'll email each of you for your addresses and all that shit. Get a mug out to you ASAP.
No ties.
Wow. And a new mug month starts in like 24 hours. So
starts now.
Basically now. So and then shout out to the leader of the FML Field Public League. It's still Daniel Eberhard, aka OK Mbumo. He's up to 166 overall, so he's doing a good job right over there.
Okay.
Man, where do we begin?
I think we need to start talking about Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's start with the defense. Because Daniel, Chester, Graham Burglar are all asking about holding Robbo or not, which is very much on your mind. And then Hardly Boy said, for those of us idiots still on double pool defense, is it officially time to sell, or do we keep faith with the 2 bad offensive teams in Everton and Wolves coming up? So where are you thinking with Robbo?
Well, it depends on your team's needs, but he's obviously like it's a huge problem. I mean, it's past... it's past like, oh yeah, they're going to get better. Like they're just not, they just look bad and they don't look like they're going to keep clean sheets. They look lost in games. I mean, obviously they're not conceding like high volumes and it's like waves, but there's just something about it, right? It's just almost like you watch, it's like a matter of when, not if. Right. And I mean, I think it's that coupled with, I mean, he's not like, he's still making a lot of like good runs and shit, like in the final third, Robbo, and he's still getting in good positions and stuff, but it's just not enough. I mean, he's not really there's nowhere for him to cross to, so that's taken out. Like he's just not crossing at all, and he gets he used to get a lot of assists, obviously that way, like those flat crosses or just whatever, and he's getting subbed. It's just like it's a mess. But I still think for these 2 fixtures, like what are you really doing? If that is the biggest problem in your team and everything else is good, then that's, that makes sense to spend transfers there. But I just haven't really come across that yet. I think, there's still teams where there's a lot of other issues. So I still don't, I'm still not so, enraged about having him if you are going to have him for Everton and Wolves before the fixtures get worse. But, it's clearly an issue.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree with that, and that's why I went away from other defenders. It's 8 and 9 games. 8 out of the last 9 games they've conceded first, which is just fucking crazy.
Well, what do you think about Trent? Like, I mean, I know you don't have him, but I mean, it is like he looks like fucked up.
Yeah, I know. For the next two, you know, it's sort of the same answer. It's like for the next two, I think you can confidently keep him because he can just, you know, get an assist, Max Bones, whatever. Everton just like don't attack at all. I think Darwin back is like the biggest thing that will spark the attack because the attack obviously hasn't been there this season, you know, except for the Bournemouth game, but that doesn't really count. But like, you know, so that, you know, in terms of who Robbo and Trent are crossing to, I mean, that's who you're crossing to. So that is like a big change in everything that's happening. But yeah, I mean, I think Trent is still a good pick. I just didn't think he was worth it. And that's ultimately why I didn't go there. But,
I feel like with Robbo, it's different than Trent though, because he's underlapping so much more, not like in positions to cross. And Trent's still like doing more. I mean, he's maybe, you know, he does a little bit on it, but he's still putting crosses. And I feel like when I'm watching,
I mean, Robbo still took 5 corners and put in 5 crosses. You know, like the volume is still there. He's just like not as good. Yeah. But Darwin, I think, is like that's like the big Liverpool thing right now. So Halvard said Darwin's available for game week 6, might be the best third Liverpool asset. Do we move on him now, or is it better to get the Serbian god Mitro? Is he the best third forward? Daniel asking, do we go Diaz to Darwin, which seems crazy to me. I mean, Sides and Frankenstein also asking about bringing him in now. I mean, where are you at on people like kind of maybe with just like an eye on the next 2 game weeks, just kind of taking that high upside punt of like, yeah, I mean, he's probably in. Liverpool have like, they're playing Wednesday night to Saturday morning, like the short turnaround for Bob, you know.
I mean, Bob's never played this much in 3 years right now. I mean, this is the most minutes he's played in this amount of time and literally in 3 years.
Yeah, and they obviously have the great 2 fixtures. So
yeah,
I mean, I think it's a good punt to take right now if you can get there.
I mean, the more I know, like initially I was like super out on Darwin, but the more like they stay kind of playing this way, and the more I think of that, just like, you know, with Jota out still, I mean, it's just, I feel like he's maybe going to be actually better than Mo, like as a pick this year.
I think that's actually totally possible.
So like, I mean, you have to obviously use your imagination, but this thing about Mo playing like further away from goal, like it's just hasn't changed. You know, I mean, they haven't had Darwin and they've looked like absolute dog shit, and he's still playing, you know, pretty wide. So when everything looks like it's like, oh yeah, this is what's going on to try and get Darwin the ball in the box and, you know, funnel it towards him, but he's not there, right? I mean, that's what we've been seeing. But when he is there, you know, I mean, yeah, all of this shit seems like it would make a lot more sense. So, you know, it seems like he's going to be the focal point, and Mo's going to kind of be like more the floater or more like the hanger around him sort of thing, right? Like filling in spaces, coming in and at being the second guy in the box when the situation calls for it. But he's also going to be like creating and wide, and he's doing these triangles. Like, I'm still not sure. Like, I feel like Harvey's a really bad player for FPL Salah. Like, I don't have much on that, but I just feel like whenever I've watched Harvey play, it's like he's so active and busy and wants to get forward so much that like Mo has to kind of take a little bit more of a back seat and take more of a creative role in that triangle on the right-hand side. And, you know, I think I just have been very unimpressed with Mo in general this season. And, you know, he's missed a sitter or two, but, you know, I think there is something to be said about looking at this now. I mean, it's really the first time I've thought of it, like really this week, because it's been like kind of lingering, but I keep watching them. I'm just like, what's he doing? You know?
I know. And
what do you think?
Is Bennett's question, and I was really surprised that he was the only one on our Discord that asked about this, was asking basically if Mo isn't necessary anymore. He said, Haaland's starting to look like a possible perma-cap. If so, does that mean 13 million for Mo becomes much worse value as we're not capping him, and no Mo becomes less of a risk because his EO will drop more to like 70%, not 150%. Speaking of someone who's thinking of Raz and Darwin over Mo and defend, you know, that kind of stuff.
that's a huge factor. That also,
that's
right?
a huge factor.
We're watching these two teams. City machine, absolute rolling over everybody. Granted, they've played home NFO, home Bournemouth, but even in the tough, like they're just scoring goals. Liverpool is stuttering, stumbling. Sure, with Darwin back, Jota's back, the midfield, blah, blah, blah. But we're talking about like in weeks or if not months, like they might be looking better. What the fuck fixture difference do you have to see to cap Mo over like Haaland? Like it would have to be a big difference, I think.
In a normal season, Mo at Everton, home Wolves in 6 and 7, he'd be like 180% EO.
I'm not even considering him.
Like no one would even think twice about capping him.
Yeah.
Anything else would be just like put to the side. But yeah, so I think it really is a big consideration. I don't have as much belief as you do in him like playing wider and floating more and stuff. I think that is all on like Bob more than it is on Harvey. Like I think not having a legitimate goal threat, which I say as Bob has like 500 goals and 500 assists in the last 2 games, but not having an actual like goal in box goal threat in the middle just makes it so hard to be Mo and get into the box. Like I was seeing it over and over against Man United, especially of just like there's just no one in the middle of the box for Liverpool because Bob is just playing like DM and Mo's just over there, and there's just like their whole defense just shifts over. So it's like Malacia and Scott on Mo with fucking Lissandro Martinez
right
covering.
there waiting. Yeah.
And it's like, what do you want him to do?
Yeah,
and
that's true.
So to me, I'm like, I think Darwin opens up the game a lot for Mo, and we'll see him just getting more into the box and stuff like that. But it's the point still stands that if we're not capping him, is it really worth 13 million? And I feel like the answer is probably not, but the other answer is like, okay, but who are you getting? And I think that's when it becomes a lot harder.
Sure. I mean, I think that like having Darwin instead of Mo is a consideration.
Yes.
For,
I agree.
I mean, it's 4 million and the fixtures are tougher and he's still going to be the 9 in the box. Like Mo is still like a winger, I mean,
yep.
Obviously it's more of like a second forward, whatever, however you want to call it. But, so, I mean, I think what you're saying for sure is like if Mo, with Darwin coming back in, if Mo starts to look a little bit more like we're used to seeing him, you could still, looking forward, like we're wild carding in 16, like they have these tough fixtures. So, I mean, it's, you can obviously always get killed by not having Mo, but
yeah,
I'm just like 3 games ago, wouldn't even think about this. And now I'm like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to do that, on wild card. I'll probably still have Mo, but I think it's just something that's definitely worth thinking about.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that it's just like we're like preparing ourselves for this type of thing that might be, I feel like the elite managers, those kind of types of people will not change off Mo for a long time. And this might be the type of thing where we're just jumping off like ahead of them and just being like, no, like fuck what the algorithm says to do. Like this is just isn't worth a 13 million pick right now, but we'll see. But that was also Yoma named Alan too. He said, I'm considering Kev got a rest against Forest. Is Mo to Kev to cap Kev viable this week? Potentially with Mo straight back in after. And I feel like that just almost like encompasses what we're talking about. Like I'm sitting here, my cap's on Kev. I'm like, Haaland's probably going to rest. I'd rather have Kev than Mo.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, whether or not your team is like, that's what you want to be doing, is another question. But, if that, I think that's in a vacuum, go for it.
Yeah.
But you still think that that's better than capping Haaland?
Well, I mean, I don't think Haaland's going to start every game.
But I mean, then the game he doesn't start could be the champion. I mean, it's fucking Champions League group. Like they should walk the group.
Could be, but it's 2 days. I mean, he said before the pile up that he's not going to start every game. This just seems like the obvious one.
Yeah,
to rest. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe he just scores fucking 11 goals against Villa, and it's just
I'm just like really worried about not captaining Haaland.
Yeah,
like, ever really.
But the thing with Kev is that I'm like certain he's going to start.
No, that's for sure. But
so
it's close.
It's definitely
close.
risky, and no one owns Kev, so I'll be on an island on that. But I mean, that's just. I feel like at some point you gotta back the fact that he's not going to start every game. It's still Pep. It's still City attacker. I mean, he's still extremely injury prone. You know, they don't need him. Villa's the bottom 3 team in the league. So,
yeah, I mean, it's you know, we look at this like, you know, you don't need Haaland for 28 games of the 38 to win, right? But it's still just like he's fit, he wants to play, like they're still getting rhythm, they're still getting used to each other. Like, all of these games matter so much for their end goal of like winning every trophy. And you know, if you know, any singular game in the 38 is more important than the first, second, third group games of the Champions League. You know, I mean, if they need to win few games and like they'll play good players in game 4, 5, 6, whatever.
You know, I hear you.
So, you know, I'm still looking at this like, and again, right, with the NFO thing, same exact kind of thing where we're like sitting here like, okay, well, we know Mo's going to start, but like, is Haaland or something? Like, don't know. Like some people captain Mo just because of that reason when it's home NFO, you know, I mean, he bangs a hat trick in an hour. And, you know, if Mo doesn't get that, you know, after stoppage time, you know, 5/10 point, like, you know, then that's a huge difference. Like getting a 17 to 10 was not a big difference. Like that was massive, but 17-5, huge difference. So, you know, I feel like it's back to thinking about Haaland like Kuhn. Like when City were in their pomp and Kuhn was fit, you just captain him. You know, unless if it's a hard away fixture, like you just captain him. And, you know, if he doesn't start in some game, then you're like, all right, I got fucked. But when he starts, he scores goals and so many points, you know? So, I don't know. I still feel like Haaland is just like fine to captain against Villa, you know?
Yeah. And he might sub on, like, what did Kev play, like 20 minutes or something? He might play 20 minutes and get a brace. So that's also a thing that could happen. But, you know, maybe he'll sway me. But for now, I'm going to keep it on Kev. But let's jump to City. Unless you have more Liverpool stuff.
No. I mean, I think it's just in general, right? It's just they're in more or less like great disarray. And, you know, Hendo's out for a long time now. Yep. And they got the new guy in who like, you know, couldn't get a game at Juve and also never gets fit. You know, I mean, it's a good added numbers.
Also has like 1 day of training. He's not going to play.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see the Darwin effect, but I mean, the midfield is still like a big issue, and it's putting so much pressure on still Luis Diaz, you know, who really has never had this much pressure on him in his life, and then these children in Elliott and Harv and Carvalho, you know, so it's like there's still these structural issues, like in who's playing and stuff. So
I still think Joe Gomez is a problem. I like the player like individually, but he's just so passive. And I'm like, no, that's like the opposite thing we need defensively next to Virgil. It's like, I need you to go win the fucking ball, you know?
No, I mean, he's very much the 5th choice center back, you know, playing every game. I mean, it's just, there's so many things there. So it's just, it's tough with Liverpool.
Yeah. So on Haaland, Glendenning, Aston Villa fan. He said, how do we weigh up Haaland rotation risk versus the shocking state of Aston Villa? I'm legitimately petrified thinking about what they're going to do to us. And Jabroni said, how crazy of an idea is it owning Haaland and Alvarez during this tight fixture run?
Yeah, I mean, the Cuz has that. He has both of them going.
It's kind of sick.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty insane, especially I saw Jack is back in training. I mean, it's just, it's tough to make up numbers when you're looking at, you know, Alvarez compared to like Mitro or someone like that who's going to be pretty sure, you know, it's pretty similar price bracket, you know, is just going to be like starting every game and shit. But I mean, I think to me, the bigger thing with City is like, I know they got a Akanji in, which is an absolutely sensational pickup for them. He's so good. That is such a fucking amazing fit for City.
Unreal.
But they look like they are going to just break records in terms of goal scoring. Like, I kind of just want 3 attackers. Like,
I mean, I feel that.
If anything has been happening more and more is like, I feel like Foden is like not in enough teams, honestly, because he seems like he's just as similar to like Kev and Haaland as like most important player. Yeah, you know, status.
And him and Haaland are just striking up like a partnership.
Like he's starting to be like, oh shit, like the 3,000 minutes I played last year where I couldn't do any of this, like I can do this now. And like we're kind of seeing that before our very eyes, right?
Yeah, one of the most notable things, I think, well, obviously there were like the moments when Foden didn't pass to Haaland, and Pep kept saying in the post game, you know, like he's there, like he's always going to be there. They just have to get used to it. When you watch the highlights back of the game, like Haaland legitimately could have had like 5 or plus goals, because every time, if you just freeze frame any time a City player is going to shoot or anything, just freeze frame on Alvarez's goals, Haaland is just far post unmarked. Like every single time, it's like ridiculous. And yeah, I mean, if Foden's just learning that and just curling them in and, you know, all the time, yeah, it's just...
Yeah, and I think it's also like his usage, right? Like Pep is like using him like he's one of the most important, like subbing him so early, like giving him 90 against those in the game with the Newcastle and Palace games where they, you know, needed goals and like were behind and shit. Like he's just like, he looks like he's just going to continue to improve as the season progresses. I'm like very interested in Foden.
Yeah, the only way that Alvarez would be a better pick. Well, the problem with Alvarez is like we really have no idea how good he is.
Yeah.
Right, because like, yeah, he comes in, scores 2 goals versus NFL. Like it couldn't be more.
When it
meaningless.
was already like 4-0, right?
Yeah, it couldn't be more meaningless. Like it's not even
good.
a data point.
It's good that he did them, but
it's good.
I mean, projecting to the future, right?
Yeah, I'm not like, oh shit, another 30 goal scorer on City. But if he's really good, which he definitely might be, then it might be worth just having him, because yeah, he's going to start some games with Haaland. He's going to start some games without Haaland. He's going to sub on when they need goals, and he might get fucking 20 goals for all I know. But it's just a much bigger punt than like a Foden.
I think it's just really, really early to do this. Like I think if it's game week 13, well, I guess then there's the World Cup, but like I think when we look later in the season and we have a better idea of where he is on the pecking order of all of the Grealish, Mahrez, like, you know, Bill, whatever, like where he is, then that would make more sense. But if he's just like behind Grealish and Mahrez and shit, and he's like the last guy, then he's just not, he's going to start like, you know what, 7 league games or something. And then it's just, he's never a pick.
And even just Champions League data, like we don't really know how he's going to use Haaland and, you know, all that stuff. So, you know, Alvarez might just, like you said, he might just play the group games because they're less important, the first few, and then, you know, not play in the league. So, you know, we'll see. But
it's fun though.
Yeah. I mean, City are just... They're kind of making a joke out of the league is the only bad part of it, but it is fun to watch.
It's fun to watch. I mean, it's definitely fun to watch. I mean, it's not your old City of just control, you know, win 1-0, win 2-0. It's like, we are going to absolutely disassemble you every game. Yes. And it's like, they can't do any, like, it's like you
Pep's
watch, it's like they're helpless.
So much fun.
Yeah, look at Pep's wearing his nice clothes now, and he's like clapping. He's just fucking feeling it.
I mean, we're gonna get some of these soon.
Yeah,
you know,
before he was wearing the like wax, like sad, droopy shit. Yeah. Like he's like, I'm sad. Like here's my wax, droopy City shirt. Like now he's fucking all in. It's amazing.
It is funny because it's like, you know, last year they still scored 96 goals, but they were so fucking boring.
Yeah, well, because 10 of them were against Burnley. So it's like,
true.
Then what?
The discount, yeah. But it does feel like the old like Raz and Kuhn days and stuff like that. It's just like holy shit. Yeah. But we got 2 questions on the defense also. So John said, is the second best City defender now Stones over Walker? And Johnny D said, now that Cancelo got his once per season dong out of his system, is he still looking droppable, or is it worth paying the premium for being almost nailed? And then, you know, Akanji obviously complicates things as well.
I mean, I think Akanji is by far the best center back in the team now.
Completely
I don't even think it's close. I think he's miles better than all of the other, including Laporte. So,
but is he gonna just instantly come in? You know,
don't know. Yeah. I mean, was he? I didn't do research on him, but was he playing for BVB or?
I don't know. I'll check while you're talking.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, well, the good thing about it is, I mean, no one's fucking probably bringing him in now, but we will have a couple games worth to see.
Hasn't played this season.
Yeah, so who knows? He might be a little bit longer.
Might be not fit or something. Yeah.
I mean, I think just the presence of him now in the team means that I want absolutely nothing to do with any of the center backs. You know, we don't know who's going to be playing at all.
We have no idea.
Or when. I mean, what we do know is that Akanji will be playing. Who he will be playing with, we do not know. I mean, Walker is still just sitting there, you know, getting his little 6 points. Yeah, getting his 6 points per game. You know, it ain't
much, but it's honest work.
Exactly. So, I mean, he's definitely, to me, the one. And I think he's probably just better than Cancelo. Like, I think he's just the best one to have.
Dude, it's so tilting that Cancelo gets a goal.
I know, dude. I mean, but what do you want? I mean, he has... Yeah.
But I was actually thinking a little bit about Cancelo because, you know, the 2 games where he has attacking returns are home NFL and home Bournemouth. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I mean, when you look at like where he was playing those weeks compared to the others, he was way further forward and in the final third against those 2 dog shit teams. It's weird to say for like a defender, but it does sort of seem like fixtures determine if he's going to be more DM-y or if he's going to be more wingery, you know?
Yeah.
So there might be something to that in the future. You know, if they have like a good run or something like that, we can be like, oh yeah, like this is these 4 games we want Cancelo, maybe even a cap or something if Haaland's hurt or whatever it is. But yeah, when I look at like, I mean, at Villa, they're just as bad as those teams, so he might. But then, you know, it's home Spurs, at Wolves, home Man United, home Southampton, at Liverpool, at Arsenal. Like he's going to be DM, I think, in all of those games, Cancelo. Yep. So...
And picking up cards because he doesn't have to play defense.
So probably not worth it, I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, this week he could just be, fucking Villa, man.
I know, man. At least they have Dundonker. It's all good.
Problem solved?
Problems. If the answer to the question is not Dundonker, then just ask a different question.
Then the other answer is Bednarek.
If you're not good enough for a Southampton center back, I mean, look at how good Vestergaard's career took off. He left Southampton. It's fucking incredible. Bednarek is so bad. It's just like it's literally just making up numbers. It's like, what is the actual point of adding someone who's worse than everyone we already have? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Don't understand it. Chambers is 50 times better than Bednarek. So much better.
Oh yeah, he's better in every way. But I think Voldy was saying like Villa's starting to like remind him of Everton. This was like preseason, not even like before the disaster.
Great shout.
Like their age profile is all fucked. Their wage bill is like 5th highest in the country or something. They're buying 30-year-old. They're spending real money on 30-year-old Diego Carlos, 30-year-old Coutinho, like all this shit. They have no idea what the fuck they're doing.
You know who I have the most respect for after this dust is settling? Carney Chukwuemeka.
What a
absolutely
fucking legend.
Threw his tools down, refused to show up, refused to sign his contract, said, I will not sign a contract. Do not even ask me.
How about Jack?
The Jackening?
When we watch the 30 for 30 of Jack in 20 years from now, and he's just like, no, it's a fucking mess. He's like, Dean Smith didn't know what he's doing. Transfer didn't know what they were doing. I had to get out of there.
God.
Anyone who got out of there is a just humongous win.
This is the team that they should have been doing all or nothing for next year on.
Yeah, oh my God.
Missed opportunity.
Killed for that. Too bad Doug Luiz got held hostage or he'd be on Arscast right now, so... But another really bad defense is Chelsea, and we got a bunch of questions about him. So X50 said, is Fofana an easy transfer in, or should we be worried about Chelsea's defense? Side said, is the Chelsea defense worth? Blah, blah, blah. Things have to trend up. Ray, why are we sitting on multiple Chelsea assets when they're a complete mess trying to integrate many new faces? And then Tio, we're assuming James will move to right wing back with the arrival of Fofana. Is he worth the $1 million over Cucurella? Double Chelsea doesn't feel great right now.
Did RLC get hurt?
No.
Interesting question.
Interesting assumption. But yeah, I mean, basically, you're on the double. Oh no, you got rid of Reese, but a lot of people are on the double. Like, what are they up to, dude? I think this is one of my rightest calls of the preseason. Was like, I don't know about Chelsea.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the Juve DM kid that they got is a big deal.
Zakaria.
That's Zakaria. I think that's a big deal for them because that's exactly the type of like addition that they needed. Yeah. With Conte, perpetually injured.
Yep. That's huge.
It's huge. That's huge. I mean, that's a huge thing. And you would obviously, assume and imagine that now with Fofana available and the center back numbers where they have that he's going to actually just stop this 4 at the back thing and go back to, what he's always wanted to do. I mean, that's what you really can't not do that. It would be insane not to do that.
Yeah.
He would be benching like his best player if he did that, if he wasn't going to be playing one of Till over, Fofana or Koulibaly, whatever. But it's still all of these players who they just showed up, like they've never played together. They have no cohesion. He's changing the attack like before our very eyes, like who is going to be settled and playing up there. Like it actually does matter a lot, like what is going on in front of the defense and in the midfield to like have that kind of cohesion of like the unit together. And, Ziyech is playing. It's like, well, Ziyech does nothing at all remotely close to what any of the three attackers did before. Like, okay, Mount's dropping in midfield now. It's like everything is changing every game week. And, part of that is due to personnel being injured. Part of it's due to his mad, insane, weirdo tinker vibes. But there's so much unsettling that it is unsettling to own their picks because we just don't know what they're going to do. I mean, losing to fucking Southampton is bad, and they very much deserve to lose.
I lost many units on that.
Yeah. I mean, after going up 1-0, like they very much deserve to lose that game. I mean, they got destroyed by Leeds, a couple game weeks ago.
Yep.
They're in some type of shambles right now, and they have a really tough game against West Ham. West Ham started playing better last game.
Yeah, I expect West Ham to get something. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a draw looks likely. If I was to bet on this game, it'd be a draw. But I mean, it's just there's so many question marks around Chelsea right now. It just makes me feel like I don't want anything to do with any of them, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I think, long story short, I think Reece is the only guy I want right now. And if you're wildcarding, I mean, I think it'd be obviously worth consideration of like, do you even want him? But I think like, because I held him and he's in training and shit like that, I think he's still, assuming he's going to play right wing back, a still good pick and going to get a lot of attack returns. But the defense is very, very worrying. I wanted to pull this up. There's this guy, FPL Chase on Twitter. He does really good charts and stuff like that. So this is the non-penalty XG conceded rolling 10-game average. So it's month by month, all of this. And you just look at Chelsea. It's fucking hard to even find them. They're in the middle of the pack. They're just going down a lot. They're in a really bad situation right now. Chelsea is usually third, right behind City and Liverpool and everything. And they're just conceding tons of chances, tons of goals, and it's really bad. We've talked about Mendy, fell off a cliff. It's definitely worrying. Like,
yeah, Mendy's a problem. I mean, Mendy looks absolutely diabolical every time the ball comes near him. He's just like capable of throwing the ball in his own net. I will say though, they have a pretty good run up until the World Cup. Like they have Liverpool, and then otherwise it's like generally good. Fofana's fucking 4.4 million. Like, yeah, I think that's just a fucking amazing pick. Period. I don't give it. I know they're in, like, we're comparing them to the Chelsea we're used to, but when you're comparing them to the other, like, Brighton or like
16 teams in the league,
Palace, Fofana's 4.4. I mean, I think that's still a really good pick.
I agree. I just think when I look at home West Ham, at Fulham, home Liverpool, I genuinely don't expect them to keep any cleans in those three.
But that's what you.
It starts.
But
getting
that's
really
what you
good.
get out of a 4-4. Is like you're not buying him to start him every week.
Right.
I mean, you're putting him in a rotation. It's like, oh hey, instead of this being like Dunk, it's the Chelsea guy.
I guess I'm just saying I would just personally wait and just get him game week 9. Like that, he's not going to price rise unless he fucking like scores or something. So
no, and that's fine. That's fine.
And then a couple other questions because the Obs deal's done. Jitterbug said Raz currently seems like he's going to ship points.
What the fuck are they doing?
Ship points
it's so ridiculous.
I know. However, do we think Obs arriving in Chelsea will make him a worse asset? And Oxford's same question. Does Obs help or hurt Sterling trying to decide whether hold or sell him? I get it.
I want nothing to do. I want just nothing. I don't want any of this. I don't want any of this fucking nonsense.
I get buying Obs or buying any striker. It doesn't matter his name on the back because they're getting literally nothing from Kai or Mount in terms of goal scoring.
They have one striker on the team. It's Bruges. They were trying to like loan and sell out. I mean, they don't have any strikers, so
and Raz's numbers are fucking amazing. Raz is doing exactly what we thought he would. He's getting good shots. He has good XG. He's scoring goals, and just everything around him is just like completely falling apart. So I understand getting him, but yeah, I don't know what it means for Raz. I don't know where he's going to play or how he's going to play or like what the hell's going on. So I'd be worried even with Raz.
Yeah, definitely concerned.
Yeah. Another topic is just Rodrigo replacements. I mean, he's out for a month and everyone has him. I already got rid of him.
You did?
Yeah, remember I didn't want to get I didn't want to just like lose. Guy? Yeah, I just got Reed again, which I kind of regret doing because
you could have gotten Gilmore.
I know I just could have gotten any of the kind of fun mids who have good fixtures or something like that and just play them for 2 game weeks or something, but we'll get there. But yeah, I mean, Bowski, Hemdog, what do you do with Rodrigo? Hemdog and Skim asking about Morgan Gibbs-White.
What?
Yeah, listen, I don't know. Sutton asking about Mitro, Wilf, Barnes, JWP. Picks, is Bilva the answer? Jono, do we trust the Grobening? Warren and Scam also asking about JWP. Or Catfink suggesting a double move out of the price bracket entirely. I mean, where are you going with Rodrigo? What are you thinking with Rodrigo?
Well, I mean, I think it depends on your team, like what you're looking to do. Because if I'm wildcarding soon, so I'm looking at this almost like a 1 week punt. But I think if you're looking at it for more, I want to hold it till game week 8 or maybe even longer, whatever. I mean, I think you could probably just cut it down to JWP or Grob. From what unless if you can go up. I mean, JWP is like fucking basically the same price, but
or double change to forward, which is Catfink's thing, which I think a lot of people are doing. And Mitro went up.
Mitrovic. Yeah, Mitrovic.
So I think people are doing that.
Pick. Yeah, for sure.
But JWP, I mean, he has City and Liverpool, before the World Cup, not coming that soon. But other than those two, I mean, he's just set and forget him, dude. It does not matter. And Ralph is just like doing a great job with Southampton as usual. And some of the young guys they bought seem to be pretty good. And he's just going to keep getting points.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. They got some tough fixtures out of the way, and he had the goal the first game week on that kind of broken weird ass play, and then he got 1 assist against Leicester. But they're going to get more set piece opportunities in the easier fixtures which are coming. So at 6'5", he's not going to score hat tricks obviously, but he's steady. I like him more than Grob. I mean, I think they're a very similar type player, and he has pens, right, which is a big deal. Huge. And now that Grob's price keeps going up, and Brighton's fixtures are way more hard or more difficult than Southampton. So
a lot,
So I think JWP is a pretty nice selection there. What do you think?
I like the pick a lot.
Yeah. What do you think about Bilv? He's 6'9", so it's going up a little bit.
I'm just so uninterested. I don't know. Yeah. I'm just so sick of it having the conversation. I mean, maybe that's blinding me, but like I'm just so sick of having the conversation with Bill.
I think the one thing that's a little bit different now than in years past is just like how many goals that they're scoring.
I know, it's fucking crazy.
Before it was, he is doing like the same things now, role wise, right? We're used to seeing him popping up in similar positions. Yeah. Not getting insane numbers or anything like that, but he's still just like put up 6, 9, 13 in his last start. That's really good. He's still one of the best players in the world. But it's just I look at that and I'm like, that's what happened. It's not what I expect to keep happening. It's like Kev blanked in a 4-goal game. Like, is that what people expect to happen? Because I don't, so it's like, I don't know, these City fucking points, other than Foden, Haaland, I'm just like, I don't know. Kev. I'm like, I don't know where attacking points are going to come from. It seems like a different place every week. Yeah, and like Gundo's going to play some. Bill's obviously he's not going to play them all. Grealish will come back into the 4. Like those are all going to be just kind of swapping kind of things.
Yeah, Mars will start the odd game. He has 2 starts already. I don't know. I don't like the build. Like compared to a JWP, I just kind of don't get it, to be honest.
Yeah. What about the NFL shout? Because they do have insane fixtures coming up. They have home Bournemouth, at Leeds, home Fulham the next 3, just like looking at Leicester, home Villa.
Yeah, no, I mean, they have like the best fucking fixtures, but like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Who's going to get points? Like,
is this team capable of scoring goals? Like, are they a team? Yeah, like,
or are they just random people that
Have
just
you
showed
actually
up?
seen a single thing from Morgan Gibbs White to be like, this is a pick? Like,
Should I hit in Dennis and
I
cap him?
haven't. Yeah, Dennis. Like
They have Dennis.
If the only guy's Nico, like honestly, is the only fucking guy that I would get on NFO and feel good about. And I don't know.
So would you start Nico suddenly under threat though?
Oh, because Serge. I could see Serge like doing something dirty to like hurt him or something, so he gets in the team.
I mean, you know who's best friends with Pogba's brother?
Is he?
No, but I mean the stories.
They
you know,
could
the
cast a
French,
spell.
the French connections.
Yeah,
the
they
spells,
could cast a spell.
There's something going on over there. The curses, the warlocks, the witches. Hey, prove to me that it doesn't work.
All of
Good luck.
Nico's hair is gonna fall out overnight.
That's what I'm saying. Beware, Nico Williams and your Welsh family, or he's Welsh,
Yeah.
Would you start him like at Leeds, home Fulham, or are those like too bad attacking fixtures? You just want him home Bournemouth? Like, I still don't know what to do with Nico and NFO.
I think
if you own him,
I think genuinely startable. Just
all those,
all of them.
Just go and hope he scores a couple goals.
Just hope there's 2
Weird
cleans in the next 5.
Yeah.
Which seems like their cap, but that would be amazing. And then his attacking numbers are fucking insane.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Absolutely fucking insane. If anyone was doing this on any other team, we would all have the player, no question.
Yeah. If this was a player, no, totally.
So it's
if
just
he was on
like
West Ham, he'd be in every team.
Every single team. And
Emerson,
he's going to get
you.
an assist and a goal soon. It just hasn't happened yet. So, that's Nico. But Nico. I like the JWP pick a lot. I went down, so I'm thinking about going up to a forward, like a Mitro or something like that. But we should talk about forwards because ton of questions about forwards too. We just get a ton of questions now. That's just the podcast we are. But Glenn, Wolfgang Picks, James, Fabrizio, Aubameyang, all look at Mitro versus Tony versus Darwin versus Ishak for the third forward spot. And then Kendall said, do you think it's Callum when he's fit and Ishak when he's not? Is Mitro just too inevitable and obvious, or are you? It's still at Spurs home Chelsea, right? It's still tough.
Yeah, I mean, they're not. There's still 3. You know, he's going to be facing 3 center backs in both those games, and you know they're not going to be focusing on much else other than him.
Yeah.
You know, that's just how those games are going to go. But he's just defying it all. I mean, the numbers are still underlying, just out of control. And he was just like, they're having fun. He's having fun. Like, yeah, it looks good. But I still do believe in, you know, that the fixtures matter here, especially for a team like Fulham, even though his numbers have continually looked good. I mean, he does have a lot of headed chances. So, you know, I think they have to be taken a little bit with grains of salt there when you look at just the raw numbers without watching him play and watching the games. I mean, if you can time it out and wait to miss these 2, I think that's ideal.
Me too.
But if you can't and you're like, I need to do something with Rodrigo, I have 2 frees, I don't want to go shopping in this JWP bracket, I want Mitro for the long term, and you already wild card, it's like, yeah, just do it.
Just get him.
Hope he does the things in the tough fixtures, and then you just have him in because he just looks like a really good pick. And I mean, in terms of all those other names, I think the only one really that would rival him would be Darwin, you know, just because, granted, it's a totally different price bracket. It's $2.5 million more, but, you know, he just plays on a team that can actually create a million chances and fuck teams upside down. And that's just not what Mitro's team does. So, you know, does Mitro have hat-trick potential? Like, no. I mean, he misses pens and shit. Like, he just doesn't. I mean, Darwin does, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Ishak, obviously, we both love him. But, you know, people are thinking about doing him for a 2-week punt and then Mitro. It's like, it's not worth it. He doesn't have good fixtures. Like, home Palace at West Ham. Like, if he had 2 bankers, I'd be like, yeah, take that punt. You know,
if it was NFO's fixtures.
Yeah, maybe he braces in one of those and you're flying, you know. But, like, with those, I would just get Mitro. It's not worth an extra transfer. Yeah. But yeah, Mitro is just inevitable. I think he'll be in every team starting game week 8 unless Darwin like pops the hell off.
Yeah. I mean, and Tony's star is falling. I mean, it is sort of like, it's just, he's putting on continual performances of what we are used to seeing from him, kind of, where he's just facilitator, and they were really bad against Palace. Like, they played for 10 minutes, I'd say.
Yeah, they keep doing that where they're really bad and then they make a bunch of changes and then they explode because they actually had like good XG and some, but it took 5 subs until they even started doing anything.
Yeah. So I mean, Tony doesn't seem like he's in this kind of conversation.
I don't think so.
What about I feel like we need to talk about Southampton a little bit.
Tony's weird because he's so good, but he's just not an FPL pick. What do you want to talk about Southampton?
I mean, they're so good. They're legitimately like, how are they doing?
I mean,
this?
I thought
I don't understand.
I thought they were relegation level going into the season, but I think that some of the new signings so far are just like really good, and that's all it takes for Ralph to put them in a position to succeed.
They have been so impressive to me.
Yeah,
easily the most impressive team in the division.
Compared to like where we thought they were. Yeah. Oh my God.
I mean, and honestly, like they have been doing the same sort of thing where they just get all these new random ass young fucking players.
It's the old school Southampton thing.
Yeah. And it's like, who are these guys? Oh, they all suck because you bought them for $3 million and now our team is a disaster. But first, I don't know if they cost more or less, whatever, but like Mara, good player, Mummy, gone, Aribo, good player, Lavia, good player. Like they kept Al-Yunusi, good player.
When are you going to mention Bella
Ketchup?
Because he's the fucking best center back in the league.
They have Ketchup, Perot, Walker-Peters.
Dude, Ketchup is so good. Like, I don't know if it's even sustainable to keep being this good.
It seems like it. Why wouldn't it be? I mean, they have a legitimately really good center back pairing. They have good fullbacks. They look good.
They look
granted,
really good.
They're 2 or 3 injuries away from being the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
But until that happens, like the way they're playing right now, they look so good. And I really like that goalkeeper, dude.
I was about to say,
Bazunu.
how about Ireland's Bazunu? They're not starting fucking McCarthy anymore.
He's fucking good, dude. He's really good. I really like him. Yeah. I really like him, what I've seen
McCarthy
of him so far.
And Forster and fucking Guan, they were just running out for the last 3 seasons, nightmares. So,
I mean, they still have McCarthy, but,
he's not playing, so. But yeah, they're good. They're doing
good. Southampton,
I really had my doubts, but they just like seemingly hit on a bunch of transfers. So if you do that, you're a lot better.
Yeah, it's exciting. And they still have Redders knocking around. He'll have his day. He'll have his 4 games.
I saw like a Walcott was maybe signing with like West Brom or something. I was like, whoa, I can't believe he's still playing. Had no idea. But all right, should we jump to some other questions?
Sure.
So Richard, the Forest fan, asking for the best NFO player for the next run. We already answered that. It's just only Nico. Yeah. Wardell, could 3 light be a thing like Raz or Bruno, etc.? And Jacob said, thoughts on some of the 9 to 10 million mid and forward assets. Is it worth having a spot in our teams for Raz, Bruno, Darwin types? If so, who do you like best? We haven't talked about Bruno.
Yeah, I mean, it's not good that Ron didn't leave. It's just not good. I don't trust enough that he's going to play bad teams and not play. They need to play bad teams and not play Ron for me to want Bruno. Because if they're playing the bad teams and Ron's playing, then Bruno's like, whatever. He's bad. He's like last year. He's bad. He's not a good pick.
Well, they played Southampton and Leicester and Ron didn't start those.
Yeah. No, and that's a good thing. But
so that's good.
But I'm also looking at that as like, he wanted to go. It's like a little problem. But now that you're fucking stuck with him for the rest of the season, like, are you going to keep doing that? Because then you're basically just never going to start him, which obviously I think they should do because he's one of the worst players in the team. Yep. But I don't have confidence that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And granted, irregardless of whether or not Ron played, I mean, Man United, they didn't really fucking do anything today. They didn't have
awful.
to, I guess, but they were really bad. They just didn't create or do. They just didn't do anything.
I feel like a better team just scores like 4 with the amount of space that Leicester was leaving. It was just insane. And they just couldn't like get shots off. Yeah.
So, I mean, and with Raz too, it's like, I think it's the same kind of concerns of like, they're a team in transition. Like, what are they doing? Who are they? they're playing good teams and losing. You know, I mean, at least Man United are winning the games, but that doesn't say anything for the fantasy assets, I guess. But you know, there's just uncertainty there. You know, so I'm not like thrilled about those picks. I think Darwin is the most exciting.
Me too.
Of this kind of price region. But I actually did want to talk to you a little bit about Spurs. You know, because I mean, Kane and Son aren't in this bracket. They're a little bit up higher. But I mean, their fixtures start to get a little bit mixed, you know, I mean, after Fulham. But do you, I mean, what do you think about that in terms of like getting one of those guys as the extra?
Yeah, I mean, my original
pick?
wildcard thing of like Kane over any of the other third premium guys that I was looking at was mainly for like, in my head, you know, before the Haaland experience, I was like, I'm going to cap them this week because I'm not sure if Haaland's going to start, which I guess still stands. I think there's still good caps this week. And I'm going to cap them in game week 8 when, you know, City don't know who's going to play, Champions League, whatever. And Liverpool have at Chelsea. So that was like my original thinking because I don't like capping Mo in the derby. Yeah, I mean, I think their fixtures are insanely bad, to be honest. Like at City, at Arsenal, at Brighton are 3 of the next 5. Yeah. But I do like them for home Fulham, home Leicester. I mean,
the thing about them, though, is those are bad fixtures on paper. But if they're going to keep committing to this like low block counterpunch,
might be good.
They had less fucking possession than, what's it called? The fucking Western and NFO, right? I mean, didn't they...
Dude, they couldn't get the ball against Forest.
They don't want the ball.
Like, they don't want seemingly they don't want the ball. It's not a good way to play.
Well, it's the Conte way to play. I mean, it really is, right? I mean, that's kind of what he did when he won the league. And, you know, I guess I'm still like very interested in Son. I don't know. That makes me just like pervert because he hasn't scored a goal. I mean,
he had a tap in this week. It's just Kerr beat him to it. Put it in his own net.
But I mean, like, they are doing the things that I imagined that they would be doing. And I mean, I could just be totally wrong because I was very staunchly like Son over Kane, and that so far is ridiculous. He has double the points. Yeah. But I still just see him like in the future as just, you know, tip of the spear, getting the actual goal scoring opportunities. And I feel like, you know, he's still like a good pick. He's just still, you know, 11-7 is expensive. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's still basically true. You know, the points don't tell the whole story. If you're going to pick one of them for the next, you know, for the home Fulham and the home Leicester, I think it probably would be Son. The thing that I'm worried about is that Son's getting subbed every game for Rich. Yeah. And he says that Rich is going to like start one of these games, and it seems like this would be the game to start Rich, and then like, you know, Son plays Champions League against City or something like that. So.
Yeah, or the other way around where Rich plays the Champions League.
Rich plays the Champions League. Yeah, so that just sketches me out where like I wouldn't be as comfortable capping Son as I am Kane, which is again why I was originally on the Kane.
I hear you. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just feel
it
like
all kind of circles back to the Mo talk of, right? It's like,
right.
If we're going no Mo, which we're both agreeing is viable, we just need to find who to get.
Yeah, which is difficult because we're talking about picks that are struggling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Jeff said a lot of people went Brighton for game week 5 and or bringing in Brighton guys for game week 6. They have a nice little run for good budget option guys. How much should we read into the midweek laws? How do you rank McAllister, Grob, and Tross?
Yeah, so they have home Leicester, at Bournemouth, home Palace, and then it gets, you know, a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
I mean, McAllister is strictly a pen merchant.
Yeah, he's not a pick.
Yeah, I mean, I think Grob is definitely like the best pick there. I think Purvis is, you know, mentionable. He won the pen, gets subbed early. You know, he's bought for a lot. Is really highly rated. Has looked good, you know, to me. You know, in the Leeds and the Fulham game, just eye test looks really good, and you know, he could be a good rotational piece. You know, he's like the same price as like Duncan Veltman or whatever. But I mean, it's still. I mean, Tross, I'm just. I don't know. Like, where is he going to play?
I'm not a believer.
Yeah, I'm just not interested. I feel like whenever he gets points is just like lucky kind of or whatever. Like the game has to be playing the exact perfect way for him to like find this little space or something. Like from a consistency standpoint, it just feels like he just goes completely, absolutely missing in games too often to be a pick. I feel like Rob is still fine though.
Yeah, I think Rob's still a great pick. But if you were going to punt on someone, like if you were going to not get Mitro for 2 weeks and punt on someone, like Welbs isn't the worst pick. I mean, he just got rested. He should be starting the next 2. There's no better fixtures in the league than home Leicester at Bournemouth. Strictly none. You know, so if there's ever a time for him to like fill his boots or something, it would be now. But yeah.
Yeah. The thing with him that's tough is like, his like ceiling is a single return. I feel like, you know, so
I mean, that's what you're hoping. Hard. It's like 2 to 3 returns and Mitro doesn't get that many against Spurs and Chelsea. That's the bet. It's a hard one.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
Speaking of Spurs, X50 said, is Perisic just going to start 80 to 90% of games rather than the 50 to 60% we might have expected in preseason? You got him, man. What's going on? He's starting a lot.
He's started 3 straight. He's running in the ends of the games, like still getting in really good positions, right? I mean, it looks like it doesn't faze him. It's just so hard to evaluate when we have no information and it's just pure speculation. Like, how is Conte going to treat the Champions League group? And, you know, historically doesn't give too much fucks about the European competitions, and they have so many fullbacks. Like, you could easily talk me into he's going to play Fulham, and then he has the week rest, and he's going to play 65 against Fulham, like game done, sub him. Or, no, he's not going to play Fulham. He's going to play 30 minutes in the Champions League, and then he's going to be fresh for their next like little run of City, Leicester, Arsenal, right?
Right.
I mean, it's such a mess. I think you genuinely just need to commit. Like, forget about thinking about it or talking about it. If you buy him, you just fucking keep him. And you don't think about it or look at it or ask questions or look at the leaks or anything. It's just, you just keep the player, unless if he gets injured.
I was going to actually mention the leaks because they play Saturday 3 p.m. slot, 10 a.m. slot. We should get a leak. Like, if you're willing to set your alarm for, my time 5:30 in the morning, your time fucking nightmare in the morning, we will get a leak. No.
But there's the Liverpool-Everton game. So the leak has to come so much earlier, right?
Yeah, but usually, like, so far, I should say, which, doesn't mean it'll keep happening. But so far, we've been getting it. If it's the next day, we get it. Like, if Spurs play on Sunday and it's a Saturday deadline, we're not going to get it. And if they play on Saturday, we might get it on Friday. Okay. Or, like, early in the morning or something.
And then you just
bench them.
And you just go by the leak. The leak is true. Always true.
I think that's basically viable. And like, we didn't even mention it either. It's funny that the leaks they tried to stop the leaks from happening. They're so fucking stupid, FPL. It's like, oh, we'll push the fucking deadline back 30 minutes. Like, that's going to fucking stop the fucking wankers leaking the team sheet. Instead of just making it 5 minutes before, everyone has the team sheets like every other fantasy game in the world for every other sport. They're like, no, we're going to do it the opposite direction. Yeah. So fucking stupid. But
we're going to make it more frustrating for our users.
Exactly. I was going to mention when we were talking about Darwin and shit and Robbo, I forgot, is like Liverpool's the 7:30 in the morning game. Decent chance we'll get some sort of lineup whispers or something like that. If Darwin's in or if Robbo's in, if Tsimikas is in, whatever it is. If that's like, if you're thinking about hitting in Darwin.
There's no way that Robertson's not going to start this game.
He's not going to throw Tsimikas. I have to say that.
He's looked terrible. Tsimikas has looked terrible.
Not against Newcastle, I didn't think.
I thought he was terrible. His balls have been terrible. I mean, he's been so reluctant to play him in any game where Robbo looks shattered. I feel like
Robbo looks really bad, though. I don't know. I just don't feel like he looks like himself at all.
Yeah.
But
it's a Darb. I mean, it's like he's not going to fucking say, hey, Robbo, like, go, you're sitting on the bench for this fucking Greek weirdo.
Dude, he's fucked off the Darb before, and Origi just braces, and it doesn't matter. But, like,
I don't know. Anyway, but
this is all besides the point. I'm just talking about the leaks. It's definitely something to pay attention to if you're like on these players or thinking about bringing in Darwin or whatever it is. It's like, Adman said, what do you do with Zinchenko and James? So Reece is in training. He should be fine. But Zinchenko...
Do we know?
I don't know anything. He has a knee injury and he's just not in the squad.
Yeah,
so
I think he should not have
bad.
Yeah, I think you shouldn't keep him.
Yeah, I think he should be out of every team, probably.
Yep.
Yeah, so that...
All right, well, that's it. That's enough.
Yeah, no, I'm looking. Let me scan through and see if there's any good ones that we haven't touched on at all. But give me a sec here. Rammers, nightmare. Oh, how about you'll like this one? Simple Mug. I know you lads don't like focusing on this usually, but can we get a minute on the price changes this season and how fucking fast dudes seem to be dropping and rising? Losing value on dudes I'm planning on getting rid of, like Archer and Robbo, has tilted me to no end.
Yeah, it's whatever. I mean, the game is so stupid. They do like all this dumb fucking shit. It's whatever. It doesn't matter. Everyone's so cheap anyway. So like, you figure it out,
Yeah, it's a fact.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Let's talk about our teams just for a sec. So, what are you thinking of doing with your maybe 1 week punt?
Well, I definitely have to do Rodrigo. I mean, that's that's
both of us. I already did him.
So you did him for a cheap guy. Did you get Mishra in, or are you waiting, or what are you doing?
I haven't done anything else. Yeah, I'm just sitting here. I have 1 free and 2.5 in the bank.
Okay, but you need a starter.
I don't actually, because I can start Gahey and Trips.
So you just float.
Who are playing each other. So I could float, or I could go like the really aggro option would be Reece and Stansfield to Darwin and Nico, which I kind of love. The other option would be just get a forward for Stansfield, which is fine.
I would like that more if it weren't for a hit. I mean, because Darwin could not start.
Well, I know. I mean, that would be like I'd set my alarm for 6 a.m. type of thing. But
I like that in theory. Like, I like those combinations better, I think. But I think for doing it this week for a hit has a lot of propensity to backfire badly.
For sure. Yeah, it does. I mean, it's the only... He's probably like the only player in the game right now that I would consider hitting for, because the potential's just so high. But it is obviously really risky to, take a hit like that, especially because Reece is still going to play wing back and be good.
Or center back and do nothing. But either way.
Or Fofana wing back, Reece center back. So. What are you doing with your team?
So you just need to figure that out.
Yeah, I need to think about it tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
See, I need to make sure Reece is starting. Maybe we'll get some Darwin news or something. So
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I can do Rodrigo to like up to 6'9". So basically it's like JWP or I don't know, Grob. I'm not sure. I haven't really figured out like which 1 week punt looks the best. I don't know. Do you have any strong opinions?
I mean, JWP is like not a punt really in just like stylistically, I feel like, like he's like more of a ticker.
1 week. I mean, like, who is going to get the most points for 1 week?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's fuck. Yeah, that's really hard.
Because that's what I want. That's the player I want.
It's probably Grob, but also in the back of my head, I'm like, he played 180 minutes and has like 2 days off.
Yeah.
So is this the game that he gets rested?
Yeah. Which it could. I mean, he could do anything. Potter could do literally anything.
What do you think about Leeds at Brentford?
It's going to be a dog of a game. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Leeds.
We don't know what midfielders for Brentford. Are you talking about for a Leeds punt?
Yeah.
Like getting Sinistera or something?
Sinistera, I think, he's supposed to be sick. He comes on, looks sick. No Rodrigo, probably no Bamford. He doesn't seem to like Gelhardt much, and like.
Yeah, but is that good for him? Or is that bad? Because everyone else is playing his shit. I think it's good because
they just need him to like shoot a lot and get the goals.
Yeah. But I mean, Brentford at home are good.
They're pretty good. Yeah, that's why
they're a good home team. I don't know.
That's why I'm hesitant on that.
Yeah.
Specific. I mean, you can't get like Kulu, which would be really nice.
No.
How about Neto on Wolves?
Is low. That's funny. It's really funny.
That's kind of funny. Come on.
Thank you. That was good. That was a low hanging fruit.
This is when you wish that Buma was a mid.
Yeah.
Because I would like that punt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if like I don't want to get like Wissa, or I'm not going to get, if I'm going to get someone who might not start, then I would get like, you know, someone on fucking City or something. I don't know. But, all right. So, I mean, I need to figure this out.
We need to figure it out. There's nothing calling out to me big time.
Yeah, but I need to figure this one out. And then I'm going to probably wild card immediately on Saturday.
And you're capping Haaland?
Yeah.
Do you think it's stupid for me to cap Kev?
I don't think it's stupid.
Okay.
No, I don't. I don't think it's stupid. I don't. Honestly, if I was faced with a choice, I have no idea where I would land up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm on Kev, and I'm just going to do it, and maybe my ass will get blasted. We'll see. Speaking of asses, no asses to slap. It's been basically 2 days since we potted, so no surprise, no new signups. New Mugly, good time to sign up. Get in there. Any last words?
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, bro. Check us out at FMLfield.com. Follow us on Instagram. Sports media. Subscribe. Midfielder.